Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. DIY Dad here. Today we're going to do a bit of an unboxing and setup video for the newest addition to this year's Christmas lights display, which is going to be this 8-foot tall cone LED Christmas tree from Lumary. So here we go. So this is what we're working with. This is the 8-foot version of Lumary's cone Christmas tree. So this is one of those freestanding deals. It's got a base, the pole that goes up the middle, lights that suspend down the side, and it's all remote controlled with some options. So this is going to be model number HYS PUL050250BELSL5. I will put a link to that in the description so you can see it. So what we're going to do then is we're going to open this thing up, put it together, and test it out in my living room. So here we go. All right, so in the box, you're going to find your frame, side pieces, a box with a remote, the actual string lights. First thing we're going to do is take all this stuff out of the box and lay it out here on the table. This is what you'll be looking at then. We've got the hoop that goes around the bottom. These pieces are all slotted to connect together. There are the center support pieces that go to the middle, this metal pole that goes up to the height, star that goes on top, and then we're going to find all of the hardware, the remote, and the lights themselves in this box. All right, inside the white box then we have the actual light string itself, power supply, center post, this bag which has a number of springs which we're going to figure out the use for in a little bit, a couple anchors, center support for the post, and these little clips. And then the instructions. This makes up the entirety of the instructions. There's not a lot to this, but we're gonna walk through it one by one as we set this up. So first and foremost, we have all of our parts here, so we're gonna deal with the base itself. To do that, we're gonna need the white pieces, the clips, and the center poles. So I don't think there's probably a right or wrong order to this, but essentially what's gonna happen is each of these extension pieces is going to attach in the middle to this center post. And then along the outside, these guys are going to snap in around to make your hoop. So I'm going to put these together and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, here's our base in progress. It is easier, kind of experiment with this, if you do these posts first and then do the hoop around because of the way they slot in. So on the round pieces, there's a solid foot. So this does end up getting pushed down from above. But it all clicks in, just make sure it's lined up flat. Some of them will kind of softly click when they hit the bottom, others don't, so don't be too worried about that. But that'll get your base. Once your base is built, you move around to these white clips. So these have little kind of feet on them, and they just slide over the top until they snap on both sides. Make sure that you do get them set on both sides though. They like to go on one but not the other. Don't be too worried about the spacing because these will slide around very easily on this pole. You just want to have 3 of these per section. So it looks something like that. Once you have your ring connected and everything's in place, flip that over. And then this little plastic cap is going to go right there in the bottom and kind of lock all of these in place so they don't slide back out. So when you're done, it should look like this. 3 pieces per section, then this whole thing can get transferred to the ground and you move on to the pole. These are tapered on one end, so they're only going to fit together one way. There is one pole that's a little bit shorter than the rest. That's one that's going to go on the top. All the rest are the same size. So just piece them together in whatever order, put the shortest one on the top, and those are going to get set right in there. All right, so here's where we're at so far. And it's going to be pretty tall. So at the very top of this is going to go the cone that's part of the lights. So on your light string, what I'm going to do is take off the little bands that are holding this together, kind of flare the lights out, and then that post is going to set right into that hole right there and allow this to kind of hang down from the top. At the very top of this is where the star is going to go. All right, since this is so tall, if you take this last section, put it into the cone, you can use that to place it up above without needing any special actions to reach. So then we're just going to drape these down and spread them all the way around and run them down to the base. So the lights are draped just sort of loosely here. Next thing you're going to do is go and grab your bag of springs. And essentially each one of these lights at the very base has a little hook, like so. And this spring is going to connect to that and then connect to your clips down at the bottom. So here's one section complete. So it doesn't really matter where you start because this whole thing can spin. But you're just going to go strand at a time, separate them out from the group, go down to the bottom and connect them until you've gone all the way around the ring. All right, when you're done with that, it's going to look something like this. Next step then is the star. It's a little bit tricky because it's up there pretty high, but essentially you're going to hook these two together, screw this on so it's watertight, and then that little post goes in the top of that little cone right up there. All right, star's on top. Next thing for us to do then is plug it in. All right, when it first turns on, it's going to be blinking like this, letting you know it's in pairing mode. To pair it to your remote, you're going to take the remote out of the plastic. There's a little tab on the bottom that you need to pull out, and then they should sense each other, and that should stop blinking. The receiver for the remote is this black box, on this version at least. There's not one that's connected to the string. Yours might have a little box connected to the power string kind of up by the cone and the star at the top. If so, that's your receiver. But on this one, all you have to do is get close to that once you pull the tab out and hit the on to link it. And then it's going to stop blinking and it's going to start up its demo mode. I'll do another video later about all of the scene modes and options, and we'll get this thing connected into the app and talk about how to control it through your phone. But this is kind of the effect we were looking for. So with the house all lit up in the Lumary Christmas mode, which I'm not super huge fan of, but just experimenting at this point. We still have another about month and a half to get all this figured out. So pretty cool. Build quality on it, just like all of their stuff, is very impressive. We'll see what the app experience is like for it. The remote's a little bit overly complicated in how it works, but so far so good. Haven't quite figured out the sound reactive modes. They do work, but I'm not quite sure where the sound sensor is. If it's coming out of like the star at the top, or if it's out of the little black box down where it plugs in. We'll experiment with that kind of as we go here in the next few weeks. Once I figure it out, I will let you know. So this being the end of a DIY dad video, I of course owe you a dad joke. You see how bright these are behind me because it's pitch black out here. So what is the most condescending type of bear? A pan, duh. Right, remember, with any DIY project, most important step is just to do it. Take care, stay warm, catch you on the next one. Bye.